In the previous episode, our heroes had discovered a large silver behemoth or statue known as the Skylord. Nestled amidst the feet of the resting giant was a village populated by a strange cargo cult that worshipped the Skylord as a deity. According to their traditions, once a year a hero was chosen to venture inside the body of the Skylord and have their faith tested. Those who were found to be true would receive fantastic items and relics from the Skylord as a mark of its favour. Those who were found to be lacking would be tested and harmed by the many-limbed servitors of the Skylord. Our heroes ventured inside, leaving a small party of hirelings outside, and after many trials and tribulations won through to a bizarre control centre, where they pressed many strange controls which resulted in, amongst other things, the archaic weaponry of the Skylord firing, decimating the village and killing all of the people within. At which point the heroes decided to camp and rest amidst the desolation and then push on to their true destination, Hoon Castle, the reputed lair of the Dark Eye cult of thieves, in the morning.
So you all wake up amidst this. You just have a basic camp, watches, etc., etc. Not a problem. Now, during the evening, it's been fairly uneventful, given the raucous noise that was coming from the village celebration when you first entered this area. A strange, sombre silence hangs over this now desolate patch of grass between the Hoon Hills and the Skyfire Desert, which stretches off to the west of you. This rolling expanse of blackened and ashy sand that eventually culminates some miles in the distance in rolling sand dunes that eventually rise into mountains about sort of 4 or 5 miles distant to the west.
As Samson takes the last watch, his comrades sleeping peacefully in their makeshift campsite, he spots in the distance what appears to be a large bird circling a few miles to the north over the Hoon Hills, and hears a raucous laughter like cawing as though from a crow or a raven, echoing back towards him over the distance.
So hereabouts, I'm pinging on the map.
Yeah, that's pretty much bang on.
Cool. I remember something to this effect.
Samson recalls that one of their now deceased hirelings mentioned something on one of the previous days about seeing the silhouette of a large bird in the distance, but the soldier didn't think much of it since it was so far away and didn't seem to be causing them any trouble at the time.
Yeah. If it's not approaching, I do make a note of it and plan the next day's foray into the Skyfire Desert instead of going into the hills, because we need to dodge that bird.
Okay, no problem.
Massive.
So, as your watch comes to an end, yours being the last watch, Silas and Copper, you slowly start waking up, giving a bit of a stretch, despite the fact it's a bit more clement now. It is still quite cold, and despite the fact you've got a fire, which Samson and yourselves on your own turns of watch have been feeding during the night, it's a little bit difficult, to be honest, to find a decent supply of wood in this area. I mean, you've pretty much been throwing bits of the old houses from the village on it to keep warm, but the warmth of the fire only extends so far.
A short time later, Samson's colleagues begin to stir themselves, awaking in the chill winter air.
Brilliant, now Samson, stick a few more logs on the fire there, mate. I'm freezing me nuts off.
So I'll retrieve the metal shaft that I put in the fire, thinking it was wood, and toss it off and fetch some other support beams. And I'll point out to the northern hills. I'll say there's a very large bird in there, just like just like he said, and I point to one of the charred Aunt Beru remains.
He points to this twisted blackened skeleton that has one hand sort of reaching that appears to have been almost melted into the remnants of a stone building. And as he's pointing at it, you see him snap off one of the wooden supports to throw it on the fire. And as he said, the skeleton's
So we probably would be well served not going into the hills until we plan to go to the castle. So continue along this side of the hills and then approach the castle from the south.
Sure, okay.
Do you think? What do we reckon this bird thing is? Have we got any ideas?
I have absolutely no idea, but it's very big because it's very far away, and
Oh, there are big birds, aren't there?
yeah, and we don't need to get eaten by one. Is my point?
No, it's definitely not on my agenda.
Samson tells his companions that he doesn't think they should tangle with this large bird-like creature, whatever it is, and that they should maybe consider travelling through the Skyfire Desert. However, his companion Silas, who has been looking out over the unforbidding and lifeless desert, isn't too keen on that suggestion.
Simpson, mate, I think that's a bad crack. We don't want to go. We'll never survive out there. It's devoid of life. We'll be like your hirelings over there in no time.
After some discussion, the group decide that they are going to skirt round the edges of the Skyfire Desert and attempt to approach Hoon Castle from the south, hopefully avoiding whatever this strange bird creature is. Before they set out, they begin looking over their meagre collection of rations. However, Copper does have one additional point to make.
Why?
We do have the cheese sword in emergencies.
True facts.
It's gonna be Fart City if we like resort to
Cheesy farts.
yeah.
Oh, and I didn't sort this out. Well, initially I bought a week. I don't know what. Have I got a couple of few days left?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Roll me a D3.
Usage
Roll
die.
me a D3, and we'll say that's how many days worth of rations you've got left.
Wow, John is introducing a usage die.
Well, you know, I've just got my copy of Black Hack Second Edition, so I've got a creep.
I'm gonna grass you up.
Skirting around the edge of the desert and heading northwards, the group start reaching the outskirts of the Hoon Hills, the hills rising more steeply and becoming almost mountainous, until ahead of them they can see this huge, ruined, craggy castle poised on a high cliff top reaching up into the sky.
Can we see any light in the castle or any signs of occupation at all, John?
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you roll me a D6, Silas?
Okay. 3.
Okay. It's quite difficult to tell at the moment. Obviously, it's daytime, so if there's people in the castle, they wouldn't necessarily be using lights at the moment. However, as you're sort of looking at it, you do catch sight of like the occasional flicker of what could be light. It could just be the sun shining on the stones. It's difficult to tell.
Any smoke rising?
Not that you can see.
Okay.
One thing you have noticed that's a little bit odd, Copper, as you're getting nearer to this castle, the sort of gentle wind that was blowing across the Skyfire Desert appears to be increasing in intensity. I mean, we're not talking about hurricanes or anything like that, but the wind appears to be getting steadily stronger as you approach the castle.
Okay. Is it coming from a specific direction?
No, it's strange. It almost appears to be sort of as though the wind's swirling around the castle and the hills that house it.
Do you think a storm's coming?
I wonder. Do you think we're better off in the hills, or would we be better off in the plains?
Problem is we're exposed wherever we go.
Yeah. See, the other hills had caves and stuff, didn't they? But there's no telling whether these do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think these are very cave-rich.
If we can try and make it across the plains quickly, then at least we'll be, in the shelter of the castle and the hill there, so it might be worth trying that.
So do you think we should try and creep up a bit closer to the castle then?
Yeah.
Okay, so John, the plains it is, and unless something waylays us there, I just think we're going north to the castle.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. You travel across the plains. You see like a few sort of animals, etc. The sort of stuff you'd expect to see. Nothing particularly hazardous. The odd like antelope, rabbit, etc. If any of you wish to forage, obviously you can do, or if any of you wish to hunt.
Yep.
Okay, so if you wish to hunt, roll me a d6 copper. You have a 1 in 6 chance of catching an animal that's suitable for eating. Okay, so you do catch a few small animals, but it's not enough to make a serious dent in your hunger. Okay. So you would still need to deduct rations, but you've only travelled a couple of miles, so you travel like 24 miles a day, so you don't need to worry about that at the moment. Okay, as you get nearer to the castle, you look up and you can see the sort of hill that it's sat on is obviously one of the largest in the Hoon Hills. Presumably whoever built the castle picked it for its defensive or strategic positioning. Like I say, the hill it's on is just shy of a mountain in height, and you can see this craggy grey stone castle reaching up out of it. And in fact, I'm going to move you on to another map and show you the picture.
Oh shit.
Ah.
I cannot see it. What have I done?
Very old school. Love them rickety steps. Not precarious at all.
Oh no, definitely not.
Oh.
Colin's gone.
Silas has fallen off the cliff. Told you they were precarious.
Yeah.
Because I'm crap.
You're right there, dude. Can you see the map?
I can see the map, yeah.
Okay. Now, obviously, I didn't want to. I've sort of fog of warred some of the map. I didn't want to fog of war it all because you'd basically be able to see nothing. Now, if there is anything in the courtyard, however, it would be hidden because you can't see it at the minute. As you're drawing level with the bottom of the hills that lead up to the castle, and like I say, I can't use the automatic fog of war here because it's a sort of 3D map, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. But as you look up, you can see what appears to be an extremely worn and obviously ancient carved set of stone steps that spiral around this mountainous hill up to this ruined castle.
Having reached the bottom of the stone stairs leading up to Hoon Castle, the group spend some time discussing their plan of attack.
Good.
Oh,
yeah. And I
it's not looking such a great idea now all of a sudden.
Now, as you guys are discussing this, obviously looking around and taking in your surroundings, you can see the only obvious way, besides from climbing up this incredibly steep, almost mountainside, is this stone staircase that spirals around it. Now, that's not to say that's the only way you can get up there, but that's the only obvious way of walking up it.
So, about a night or two nights back, it was a full moon.
Yeah.
So we could wait till night time and do like a nighttime ascent of these stairs. Maybe under cover of darkness, we would stand a better chance, perhaps.
Well, yeah, sure. I'd be looking up the actual cliff face, and John, I'd be trying to determine how scalable that would be, because I could always nip in another entrance, so that way we're kind of closing in on everybody.
A man of your caliber, Copper, that should be no problem.
No, it shouldn't. That's why I'm pondering about it.
Exactly.
Okay.
A bit concerned with the wind, but apart from that...
You think, Copper, that it'd be quite difficult for anyone to climb. basically on a sort of like a system note, it would be a strength check to climb it up. You're having to like pull your own weight up. You're having to scale the walls. It would be quite difficult, and you'd have to make like a series of checks. It wouldn't just be like I've made a strength check, because it's obviously it's a long old way up to climb.
Yeah.
Not to meta, but I do have a pretty decent climb surfaces skill.
Yeah, it'd definitely be easier for you because you have a specific skill that you could use instead. But for anyone who's like not Rogue Master Supreme, it would be. I mean, Silas is just like, I'm out. It's too steep.
Here are my qualifications, sir.
Yep. For anyone who's not spent a lot of time practicing and honing their skills like you have, it would be very difficult to climb. So basically, anyone who's not got the climb sheer surface skill, it's a strength check, well, a series of strength checks. For yourself, it'd be using your climb skill because you've trained for this shit, basically.
I do have some rope, but then it's only 10 feet. I'm assuming it's going to be higher than 10 feet.
Yeah, it's higher than 10 feet.
Okay, fine.
I mean, we're talking you'd have to climb probably at least 90 feet.
Oh, wow, okay. Challenge accepted.
So basically, to break it down for you guys, you need to make 3 relevant checks to get up to the top, which would get you like on the actual top of it on like a level footing. If you've got the climb sheer surfaces, you can use that to make the 3 checks. If not, it would be 3 strength checks. Obviously, ropes and stuff like that could make it a lot easier, but someone's got to get up there to put the rope up first.
I advocate walking up the path.
Yeah, I don't think it's a like a terrible idea to wait until nightfall and then creep up as quietly as we can the stairs, and then because it's not a very good position to monitor from if you're coming from like it appears on the map. We're coming almost directly from beneath, so
Yeah.
they are gonna have to have some fancy like guards going on if they
Or on the path.
yeah basically.
Again, just to let you guys know from a system point of view, in case you're not aware, in this system, falling damage is like d6 hit points per 10 feet you fall.
Okay.
So even if you fail your first one, you're potentially like falling 30 feet, so that's 3d6 damage, and then it's like another 3d6 for each like section you've got up. So if you're like, oh, I'm just there, and you fail your last one, you're potentially falling like 90 feet, so you're talking like 9d6 damage. You could survive it, but chances aren't great.
I'm just worried we're going to end up with a guard right in front of us on the steps. But then, yeah, if we wait until nightfall, as you said, maybe it'll be fewer of them there.
The heroes continue to hatch their plan as to how to gain entry to the castle, and after a while they formulate a reasonable plan of action.
Okay, so we're planning to put some oil on the stairs to create like a trap. And then maybe if everybody's cool with that, we're going to like sort of shout up as if we're the group that was in town bringing back the stuff. We're going to kind of call up like, oh yeah, wait, come on in, give Sam all this old gear, whatever. And try and do our hyena type impression based on what we've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever.
Okay,
And,
that's fine. So
rouse them up.
So whoever's putting the oil down, cross the oil off your equipment list.
I guess that's going to be me, is it?
Yeah, my equipment list has been trashed. I haven't updated it.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so you're sort of laying out this oil on the stairs, Copper. Are you taking any precautions to remain unseen, anything like that, or are you just literally
definitely,
waiting till it gets dark and then...
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that there's nobody this close to where we are, but there'll probably be people further up. But even so, I'll still be looking out as I'm sort of drizzling it along.
Okay.
Well, I'll keep an eye out, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. Copper, can you please make me a move silently roll?
Serpently. Any bonus or bounty
No,
or anything?
just standard. Okay, that is absolutely grand. So you move onto the stairs, you start spreading out this thick, glutinous, slippery oil on the stairway ahead of you. Obviously, you're staying as close to the cliffside as possible to shield you from being spotted from above. You occasionally risk a glance upwards. Obviously, it's night time by the time you're doing this. There's a little bit of moonlight shining down, but there's a little bit of cloud cover, thankfully. You're pretty sure you've not been spotted. Obviously, the oil's black as well, so you spread the oil on these stairs. You're pretty sure no one's seen you do it.
Okay. So I then slowly move my way sort of further down, then just go.
Okay, so a couple of minutes after Copper's sort of headed around the curve to spread this oil, he comes back and is like,
Bit of thieves' cant.
Yeah, very cryptic.
Legit.
Very
how will
cryptic.
anyone ever work out all thieves can?
Well,
Encoded communications,
It's
right?
almost-
Yeah,
almost like a
nobody
bit-
will know what we're talking about.
yeah. It's like you're not a thief, so it's like, yes, it's fine. We can do the next step. Yeah.
Okay,
Start chatting in alignment languages now.
Mm.
okay, so you're all stood just before this small slick of oil begins on the stone stairs, and you know, Copper, from having had a look at where you've spread the oil, that it's going to be fairly treacherous there because these stone steps are quite worn and cracked and a little bit unstable anyway, and you've just like slathered this slippery oil over it.
That's
So
precisely
it's going
the
to,
idea.
so just round the corner, it's going to be very treacherous, which is, as the thieves' cant says. So you've rejoined the others. You can see that thick clouds have drifted across the moon. The whole scene is plunged into darkness. You can literally just about make out the castle as this huge shadow against the night sky.
Okay.
So we're pretending that the cart is here now, and then
We go.
I wasn't hoping for the actual.
We're
car.
making creaky. We got the coconuts out.
so do either of you want to do the, I suppose, the speech, or
I look to Silas and say, "You can do a pretty good laughing voice,
Yeah, like that.
just like that. Just do it
Just
loud.
like that.
Make it much
We got a
louder.
treasure. Do my best, Matley.
Okay, so what are you shouting, Silas?
I don't know. Come on, give us a hand, you buggers! Hey. We got loads of gold. Come and get it.
Okay, you hear nothing for a few moments. Then a
Then
loud,
they shoot us.
a loud voice shouts down from somewhere up above. The harpy's egg has been stolen!
What's the harpy's egg?
Now we're bollocksed. The harpy's egg has been stolen.
Tell them you found it. Tell them that you caught them and you found it.
And I've caught it and I've found it. And I've what? I've yeah, I found it. I've got it. The egg has landed.
Okay,
We're
Silas.
dead. We're
So
dead.
now to point out, you guys are about sort of, because obviously you've had to move up the staircase to do this.
Not
So-
anymore.
So effectively, you're about sort of like 30 feet up because you've like moved up. Okay, so as you're shouting this, Silas, can you please make me a dex roll?
Do I have to?
Yep. Well, you don't have to. You can just choose to fail it if you wish.
They're throwing eggs down.
They're throwing harpies eggs. The harpies don't even lay eggs, do they?
No, they're actually pickled eggs.
It's a trick. It's a trick question. You're supposed to go. Harpies don't lay eggs.
Yeah, they birth live young.
That's it. Oh, it's 15.
Is that equal to or lower than your dex?
I doubt that.
Okay, so as you're sort of shouting, like, "Oh, we've found the harpy's egg," and you're doing your best imitation of one of the hyena men laughs, from up above Copper, you hear this, and as you watch, you see what appears to be a big rock pushed to the edge of the cliff, and it plummets down towards Silas. It strikes you, Silas, causing you 6 hit points of damage as this huge piece of rock plummets down, like hits you square on. Copper and Samson, you see Silas sort of sway dangerously. Obviously, you're on this narrow ass staircase that, like, pretty much oblivions to the left of you. He's just been hit by a huge rock. He's swaying steadily, his arms windmilling around as he like staggers towards the edge of the staircase.
Yeah, Am I close enough to try and grab him?
You're close. In a split second, you have to think about this. You know you're close enough to grab him. However, if you grab him and you're not strong enough to hold him on, you're probably both going to go over.
Don't bother.
And then I'll grab you, and then we'll just chain off the
Who would have
mountain
thought
and
it would
die.
end like this?
Yeah, do it. No, instinctively I'm going to do it, so I'm going to grab you.
Okay, that's fine. You grab hold of Silas. Make me a strength check.
Okay.
Oh, well, it was the thought that counts.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Samson, you see Copper grab hold of Silas, but obviously Silas is a fairly big fellow and he's like quite heavily armoured. You see Silas sort of like his heels on the edge of his path as he starts going like and falling over backwards. You can see like Copper's obviously going to go with him as Copper's being like dragged over by his weight.
So I have like half a second to do something, all right? Yeah. If I had like a couple of seconds, I would like jam my nunchucks somewhere, like leverage, and then like grab him. But it's just gonna be a grab for Copper.
Okay, make me a strength check.
I think this is the button here for that. No, we die.
And so
Okay.
next week we'll be playing Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
Okay, so literally this whole sort of, it would almost be comical if it weren't so dangerous, as Copper grabs hold of Silas and is pulled over the cliff. Then just as your like legs are disappearing over the edge, Copper, Samson grabs hold of one of your legs, tries to like lean back with all of his weight, but finds himself pulled forward, and you all topple over the edge of this staircase and tumble down to the ground below. Okay, so which one of you would like to roll me 3d6? Or I can roll it if you would prefer not to lay the blame on a player.
It makes no difference to
I'll tell you
Silas.
what, I'll roll it. Here we go. Okay, so as you plummet over the edge, you each take 12 hit points of damage.
Rip.
Very much rip.
Okay, so I'm sorry about this. I presume you're all on like 0 or less.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
on minus 11 just there.
Oh yeah, Silas is brown bread.
But
Okay, so I'm sorry for that, guys, but all three of you plunge over the edge into oblivion, and you all strike the ground. Now, luckily for you, I'm feeling in a bit of a generous mood. Call it the sort of luxury of like the 2-monitor setup I'm enjoying at the moment, but I'm feeling in a fairly generous mood. So what I'm going to assume is that you've actually left Willava down at the bottom, since we weren't playing his character. So there's a possibility that he could like bandage one of you. Since, as we said previously, if you get someone in the same round, you can bandage them up. So which of you is the least dead?
Oh, I didn't quite add it up. How many? No, 12. I'm on -8 at the moment.
-6.
Okay, so obviously you're actually all on 0, but just for the purposes of this, Samson would be the least dead person. Okay, so Samson, please roll me a D3, and this is how much like Will Ava manages to like, splint you back together. Okay, so you've got 2 hit points left. Now, obviously, Samson, Will Ava's only got time to like bandage up either Silas or Copper, and it'll be down to you to like bandage the other person. Although you're barely out of splints and bandages yourself, so I'm going to roll for Will Ava, who is going to attempt to bandage Copper. Okay, so you're on 2 hit points, Copper, and if you roll me a D3, okay, so Silas, you're on 1 hit point.
We need to go.
Okay, so basically, you three, well, you two, because Samson will have awoken first. Copper and Silas, you awake covered in bruises, your joints aching, pounding headaches, etc. You've been dragged a short distance away from where this imposing tower rises into the air. You can see that Samson's like all bandaged up and got like a few bits of wood as like splints, and he's trying to like patch Silas together. Copper, you wake up with like Will Ava like, wrapping bandages around yourself. I believe you guys still also have a container of the nectar from the Sky Lord.
I do. Yep.
So whoever wants to take that can restore. I think it's D6.
I've got a 2d8 here.
That's fine. Go with that then.
Okay.
Now, are you chugging it yourself, or are you giving it to one of your companions?
I would chug it myself, frankly. I'm in so much pain.
Okay, so you drink this extremely fruity and pleasant tasting beverage, and you are restored by 5 hit points. You feel vitality flowing back into your limbs. Samson looks in a bad way. Silas looks like he's 1 foot in the grave. And you can just see that where the stairway, as you're looking at the distance, where the stairway where you were standing, it looks as though this huge boulder's plummeted down, and it's like demolished part of the stairs as it sort of hit Silas and the stairs and carried on down. You see there's now like a sort of sizable gap in the stairway.
What was the point of them doing that?
I guess I got the password wrong.
Yeah. But I gave it to you, so...
It was a trick question for sure. Harpies don't lay eggs!
Either way, let's take off.
Let's get out of here.
Let's take off
Let's
before
blow
they...
this joint and go home.
Yeah, before they bring out the bows.
Okay, so let me move you back onto the map.
We need to rest up. We need to go on a little hunting expedition, get some grub. Anybody got any rations? I'm bang out of it.
Yeah, take some of mine.
Ah, good old Copper.
Okay, so you guys are basically like a sorry ass raggedy train of sort of almost lepers at the minute. You're all covered
Funny
in bandages.
that, yeah.
You're like leaning on like bits of wood to try and walk. Copper doesn't look too bad, to be honest. He looks fine. He's strong.
Full health.
La, 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 la.
He's been on the Kiora.
Yeah.
Samson looks a bit ropey. You are feeling none too clever, Silas. You're feeling like a strong breeze could like finish you off at the minute.
I keep getting hosed. Oh boy.
So do we want to go into the hills and hunt and try to recuperate, or do we just like hightail it as quickly as we can to the city?
Maybe we should get to the forest, which is halfway there.
Yeah.
We could just go back to the Sky Lord and turn it into a fortress.
a sky fortress?
There's hardly any food there, though.
Yeah, man. Maybe there's some food in the Sky Lord.
I'm not going back in there.
No. Understandable.
Too much weird stuff in there.
So do we want to head this way then?
Let's have a look.
Yeah, sure. That was my plan.
What about if we have a look in the hills and find somewhere to shelter? So, like, 11-0. Oh, you want to go over there, do you?
Yeah, I was thinking, do we go this way or?
I mean, the forest does sort of give shelter anyway.
Yeah,
At least
it
there'll
does,
be food,
it does.
berries.
One of these forests though is crawling with.
Yeah, this is the no-go forest.
Over to the east.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
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 This is the bad time forest.
This is
Yeah,
the more
I
ambiguous.
suspect-
Oh, there he goes.
Well, he's barely conscious. He keeps slipping out
Yeah.
of consciousness.
Yeah, this is what you get, kids, when you're down at 1 HP.
That's it, exactly.
What's up? I tell you, I keep losing my connection.
So, John, how many hexes was it that we could do in a day?
You can travel 24 miles in a day. Effectively, you've done like 3 miles worth of travel thus far.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So we
I
can
guess we'll like fire off another 3 and get here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. So you move northwards, you skirt the outskirts of the hills. As you're doing so, you can hear what sounds like movement coming from the direction of the castle, but you give it a fairly wide berth. Eventually, after a number of miles of travel, you reach the southernmost extent of the Orc's Blood Forest, and you start pressing into this large leafy area of coniferous trees.
Is it called that for a specific reason?
Forest.
Okay, you guys will have known, as said previously, that apparently in the sort of the last days of the War of the Sorcerer Kings, just before the last city became the last shelter and bastion for people trying to survive the war, there was reputedly a great battle there between these orcs, these uruks that had been bred by the Sorcerer Kings as warriors, and the defenders of the last city, a load of whom reportedly sacrificed themselves to buy enough time for the sorcerer's defences to be installed around the last city. There's all sorts of wild rumours that the spirits of the unquiet dead haunt the forest as a remnant of that last battle.
Right.
You know what I said about those old wives' tales?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take that statement back. I think there's definitely some truth to those rumours. Based on what I've seen so far, I might have been a bit hasty.
Yeah, well, we're close to the city and there's food in here.
Yeah.
I'm willing to risk it.
And he's gone again.
Anyone got any king's foil?
Oh, Athelas. Yeah, it's a weed.
I think I've angered the gods.
Yeah, the Skylord is messing with your connection.
Okay, so as you're sort of pushing your way into this forest, you can see that it's a fairly tangled expanse of trees. There's mushrooms, fungus, various vegetation. It appears quite sort of vibrant, especially compared to the Skyfire Desert, which was a wasteland. This place is almost abundant in life. You see the odd animal wandering about, etc. Silas keeps on semi-passing out as you're moving, but as you move in there, it gets quite dark inside the forest. Even the starlight doesn't seem to penetrate the thick canopy of these trees, and every now and again as you're wandering into it, you see like a bit of a bone or like an odd twisted bit of armour of either human or, you presume, Uruk, you're not sure, manufacture, sort of dotted amidst the trees, but they've all been overgrown with moss and creepers, etc.
So do we stick around or do we head towards the city?
Maybe head further in. If we go to the other side, we're on the edge of the forest, so in theory, that's a bit safer.
Only thing is, we've got no food, and we could do with resting up.
Well, you could do with resting up, definitely.
Well, yeah, I could do with resting up. I'm pretty beat up. Silas is feeling pretty mashed.
So to the city then? I think we can make it there.
Discretion might be the better part of valor in this instance.
Yeah, let's just try and not get robbed by the same people again.
I will personally put Silas in a nice bed in a tavern somewhere. I'm happy to pay for it.
Okay, so
I'm not sleeping on the damn streets.
okay, so Samson,
not.
since you're sort of leading this motley crew, if you'd like to move your map pointer another hex.
Oh, so we're going hex
Don't
by
be
hex.
hasty,
or-
Samson.
Yeah, so as you move through the forest to the northeast, you're skirting the northernmost area of the Darkling Hills, and you see the ground sort of rises and undulates gently as you move through, but it's still coated with these coniferous trees. You hear the noise of animals and the wind whistling through the canopy as you move, but your travel is fairly uneventful. So if you'd like to move another hex.
Yep, onto the plains.
Okay, as you're moving through the forest into the area of plains that leads to the last city, and you can see the city in front of you, the glowing menhirs surrounding it as part of the arcane enchantments that protected it. As you're moving towards it, you can hear behind you from inside the forest what appears to be the noise of, it sounds like a number of people moving around.
Realising that some of the Dark Eye guards must have followed and even now be in pursuit of them, Copper, thinking quickly, ties a large stone to one of his arrows and fires it at some distance into the trees, creating a cracking and breaking of foliage some distance away from them. They wait for a few moments and are rewarded by the sound of the dogmen heading towards the noise rather than continuing the pursuit in their direction.
Nice.
I say, come on. While they're looking over there.
Okay, feel free to move yourself another hex, Samson. Okay, you're almost on the borders of the last city now. You can see you're sort of passing the standing stones that form the magical protection around it, and you almost feel like a sense of calm peacefulness and serenity as you limp and hobble over the borders of the magical protection of the last city. Although everything's fairly quiet, once you get, you've not really noticed before, but once you get beyond the magical protection, the sounds of the last city, the hubbub, the people talking, etc., flood back in and assail your senses.
The heroes head back to the Gilded Carrot, the inn that they stay at in the last city, and rest up for a few days until they are fully recuperated from their adventures, whereupon they decide to push out in the direction of the Serpent Glade. Willava, however, remains behind, saying that he has some potentially lucrative business in the matters of the arcane to deal with in the last city, telling his friends that he'll rejoin them shortly. The other heroes bid Willava a fond farewell and push out towards the Serpent Glade, heading through the Darkling Hills.
You've visited them previously, you fought the giant wolves there. They're pockmarked with caves and caverns as per your previous visit. You're just getting to the edge of the hills. The landscape starts rolling up gently. The Darkling Hills are nowhere near as steep as the Hoon Hills, but obviously you still have to, it's still a bit of an exertion to climb them and move over them, but especially given your recent incidents. But you're all feeling in fairly good spirits as you start moving into the Darkling Hills, and your first mile of travel is fairly uneventful. So if you'd like to move another hex. Okay, you continue pushing on into the Darkling Hills. You think you're probably like a couple of miles to the northeast of the cave where you buried your stash previously, but you see nothing that really causes you any great trouble. You see a few animals. Animal life seems to be quite prevalent in the Darkling Hills. There's quite a lot of game around here, but nothing that causes you any undue trouble as you travel.
There's also probably water here, right? Like as opposed to the dry desert.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of like pools and inside of caves and sort of natural dips in the landscape. Sort of the waterlogged ground has retained some of the water. Yeah, you're easily able to fill your water skins. Not a problem.
Can we try and do a bit of hunting or something?
You most certainly can.
Yeah, game is really nice.
Roll me a d6, and you need to get a 1 or a 2 to... Normally it would be a 1, but obviously since game's so prevalent here, you need a 1 or a 2. Okay, so you spend a little bit of time hunting, Silas, but you don't manage to find anything nourishing, unfortunately. Obviously, if anyone else wants to give it a go, you can do.
Go on, do it. Oh, even worse. It's not a pheasant, it's a leaf.
Yeah.
Although there's a
lot of animal life about, most of it seems to be extremely wary, sort of rabbits, etc. Obviously, you know that there's a lot of like big predators in these hills, so all of the sort of prey animals are extremely wary and on edge. Every time you like get near a rabbit or a hare, it's like, and it's gone.
Yeah, we're a couple of townies. We're not really cut out for this hunting game.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try with my lightning nunchucks to hunt rabbit.
well, to be fair, you could possibly catch it and cook it all in a one.
Yeah, it's an immediate
fricassee,
ready meal.
Yeah.
We need to hire a when we make the big time.
Mm-hmm.
We can roll around with like a Davy Crockett Hunter type guy who just catches our food like a ghillie who tells us all the best places to get stuff.
Now that's a name I haven't heard for a long time.
Ghillie?
No, Davy Crockett.
Oh, Davy Crockett, yeah. Do you want me to sing?
And there he goes.
He sang at his desk.
Indeed, it's so bad as Silas is singing that even the internet has rebelled against it.
No, not again.
As you guys push on into the Darkling Hills, you're just about to settle down for the evening when maybe half a mile in the distance you can just make out what appears to be smoke rising from behind a hillock, possibly from a campfire or something similar.
Are we talking like forwards, so like here, like towards the glade, or?
Yeah, it's coming from here.
Okay. Smoke, as in a campfire or a chimney, or?
Yeah, just sort of like a lazy sort of column of light grey smoke, like you'd see from a campfire. And as you're sort of getting a little bit nearer, you can just about make out the faint scent of meat cooking.
Smells good.
I think it might be another hunter, like the last man who stabbed me in the hand was.
Well, this time we make ourselves known.
No hard feeling.
I did make myself. That's why I got stabbed.
Okay,
hello.
We townies make ourselves known.
Yeah, maybe I could go in waving this about.
Maybe not.
Mm.
Hi ho, it's off through the wilderness we go. And hope he hears you.
Okay, so what's the plan, guys?
I think we approach in the darkening evening like a bunch of bandits, and
we whistle gleefully to make it we're okay.
This is all starting to sound a little bit similar. Copper goes round the flank.
Yeah.
I walk up all nice. Then you pop out.
Yeah, guy's
and
there,
get
like
stabbed.
working on his deer or whatever he's hunted, and it's like and then I fucking die.
Okay, so as you are you guys like trying to be stealthy? Are you just like
Well, I think we
start
should be
bowling in or
quiet.
what?
What do you think, Copper? What do you think about just you going and having a look and leaving the amateurs behind?
What I think is I paid 80 gold pieces for a room to look after you.
True.
He's invested in you, Silas.
I'll go up there and get mullered again. It'll only cost another 80.
How do you know I won't get mullered?
Well, because you're sneaky, like I'm your.
I'll go. And
I imagine you two are having this argument, and Samson's just like, I'll do it.
yeah, I'll do it. I did it the last time. It was fine. It was fine.
We're like looking around. Where'd Simpson go? What? Oh no! Look,
okay.
he's been stabbed.
Roll me a d6, Samson.
D6.
Yeah.
Is this? Are we talking like sneakiness or?
Yeah.
Don't be meta now. Just
No,
roll
I
it.
was thinking if this is like his reaction or I have bonuses for that shit. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Oh, 6.
That's
Okay.
never good.
So as you're sort of creeping around the hills, Samson,
Yeah, like a bandit.
like a bandit, you see in this sort of like shallow depression beyond the hill, you see what appear to be 6 large, brawny figures. They're humanoid in shape, but sort of hunched over, bow-legged and with long arms. They're all wearing this dark, almost black, primitive-looking armour and helmets. You can just about make out sort of fanged maws sort of jutting out from below the bottom of the helmets. You can see they're all sat around a campfire. There appears to be what looks like probably some sort of boar, perhaps, you're not sure, is being roasted over the fire, and you can hear them talking in a guttural, sort of primitive sounding, growling language that you don't understand. Two of them who are stood nearest the campfire appear to be having a bit of an argument, and they're shouting at each other. Occasionally, like, they're sort of fronting up to each other, like pushing each other. You can hear that the loud clang of like the armour as they're sort of like slapping each other in the chest. A couple of the others like and sort of laughing as these two are like.
Yeah. At least meat is back on the menu, so there's that.
Indeed. Yeah, obviously, pretty much if you've seen like the Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings film, that's pretty much what they look like. They're all. You can see that a number of them have like the big flat sort of unwholesome looking like chopping blades.
Yeah,
you can't really call them
very
swords.
unpleasant.
Yeah, they're not really swords. They're just like giant hunks of metal welded to a handle and sort of vaguely sharpened.
Yeah, with the hook on the end.
Yeah, it looks almost like some sort of like scouting party from what you can see, and they've obviously stopped for the evening, set up a very crude camp. Although you can't see any signs of tents, they just appear to be like roughing it. There's this campfire going and this boar roasting over it. There's one of these grey, green-skinned humanoids who's not really wearing much armour, with like a bit of a beer belly, who seems to be like tending this pig that's roasting over the fire. Like occasionally, like he's got like a stick shoved through it, and occasionally he's like turning it over on the stick. One of the other Uruks will occasionally just like tear a chunk of meat off it. It's like
just literally
running down their faces.
As the cook is just like, no, it's not ready yet, and it's like,
You're sort of watching all this when you see like the one who's tending the campfire suddenly stops like midway through, like shouting at one of these orcs for grabbing some meat, and he goes, "Hey!"
You can smell your temple
priest.
incense on you.
Yeah.
No.
You can't understand him, but in orc she's like, "I smell sandalwood."
Yeah, tea tree oil.
Funny you should say that. I literally like burned a shitload of sandalwood earlier, so there is that. Yeah, I do smell.
You brought it on yourself,
For
mate.
real.
You got yourself to blame.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see him. You can see he sort of like holds up his hand, and like the other orc, you see some of the other Uruks are like.
Yeah. What is it? What do you smell?
Man flesh. I would imagine that the rest of us had sort of maybe snuck up and followed.
Or maybe
If that's what you want to do,
randomly-
that's absolutely fine. So as you guys are like sneaking up, you see this scene as I've described it. All the Uruks are now quiet, and they're also like sort of sniffing at the air. You see like a couple of them have like turned their heads. They're not looking dead at Samson, obviously he's like ducked down behind the hill, but they're sort of looking vaguely in his direction. Like,
I'm doing some thieves' cant there. Look.
I draw my arrow, and if I see the one tending to the meat, I'm thinking that beer belly is a lovely target.
yeah, and he definitely appears to be like the least armoured of
Yeah,
them.
I'll
Like I
just-
say, he's basically going for like the whole Incredible Hulk, just wearing like a pair of baggy pants.
Yeah, brother. Let's get some more.
I'm gonna definitely go for him first.
Copper,
Okay.
look, this does not mean engage. This is not engage.
And this is off with the head.
Okay, so you've drawn your bow. That's not a problem. You've noticed the Uruks are sort of slowly and vaguely like ambling in your guys' direction. They've not really spotted you, but they're sort of obviously picking up on the scent and gradually moving closer.
That's the BX Essentials monster book, unless I'm much mistaken.
You are. This is the classes and equipment book.
Oh, okay.
This is the monster book.
Oh! Run away!
Okay, so they're sort of gradually getting a little bit closer to you guys, but you've got maybe a minute to decide what you want to do. So, Copper, you've drawn your bow.
Yeah, and is the one with the campfire? Is he staying there, or is he moving out as well?
He's staying by the campfire. You notice he's reached out. He doesn't appear to have one of these like wicked cleavers like the other, but he picks up like basically like a metal rod, which appears to be the same as the one that's jammed through the bore, and he sort of picked it up as like a makeshift weapon, and he's like,
Okay, cool. Easy target, but also it'll give a chance for the others to potentially react if the other Uruks are looking back in reaction. So that's-
okay. So if you want to make an attack, go for it.
Yeah. Do I get any bonuses to surprise or not?
Yeah, John, how about that sneak attack?
You know
That'd
what?
be
Yeah,
fine.
you know what? Yeah, you can have your sneak attack damage because I don't know you're there.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so you have hit this guy, so you've got your 4 damage, and obviously whatever your sneak attack damage is.
Yes. It's D4 plus strength, so
So roll a d4 and add your strength modifier.
yeah. What the hell is my strength again? Oh, 0, never mind. Okay.
0?
Yep.
0 bonus.
Yeah, I don't have muscle tissue in my body.
Okay, so your arrow hits this. Is there anyone particular you're aiming for? Is it like the beer belly you're going for?
Yeah, definitely there. Yeah.
It hits this like fat Uruk in his beer belly, and he topples forward into the fire, knocking this roasting pig over. You see him like flail about, and a sort of cauldron of hot water that had previously been behind the pig that you've not seen. He knocks it into one of the other orcs, who sort of staggers back and like rips off a bit of his jerkin as like it's steaming, and like throws it to the floor. You see the fat orc thrashes around a bit in the fire before like noisily expiring.
Jesus.
You're
Good
welcome.
shot. Good shot there.
The scene is sort of plunged into a dim half light as like the fire has been pretty much like scattered. There's the odd embers and sparks flying up. There's just like fat orcs like lying on top of it. You see all the other orcs let out this hideous guttural roaring and heft their weapons. It's quite difficult to see them wearing this black armour now that the scene's been like plunged into darkness, and you have this vague sense of this chaotic jumble of armoured figures. You hear this like as they start like running.
in your direction. At this point, Samson, deciding that he needs to distract the orcs from attacking his companions, pulls out the strange electrified weapon that he found within the body of the Sky Lord and swings it above his head, creating a storm of lightning and crackling of thunder. This works well, attracting the orcs' attention, but unfortunately Samson is unable to maneuver himself quickly enough, and the orcs fall on him, tearing him to pieces in a struggle of savagery and bloodletting, their relentless blunt cleavers falling again and again, striking the life from his body. Looking down from their position in nearby trees, Copper and Silas realise that their friend is beyond hope and there is nothing they can do. Taking the opportunity provided by his sacrifice, they escape from the area and make their way back towards the last city.